So absolutely. We have her joining us on the show this morning. Assistant Inspector General of Police Aishatu Abubakar Baju is our guest. She's the most senior female woman in the Nigeria Police Force. And she's live in our Abuja studio. Good morning, AIG. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me.
And happy Women's History Month, AIG. Happy International Women's Day in arrears. There's a lot of celebration for women, and that's why we thought to have this conversation with you to celebrate women in the force, your contributions to securing Nigeria. So thank you so much for your service on that level. But I'm really intrigued by your story, AIG, because I don't know if it is before or after that AIG. We also have doctor, because you're a vet doctor. You joined the police force as a doctor. So speak to us about your journey for young girls out there who see you and just think, maybe this happened overnight. Walk us through your journey up until this point, the most senior female in the police.
Well, thank you very much. Talking about celebrations, yes, we had celebrated a lot before I go back to myself. I also want to inform you that this year marks 70 years of women in policing in Nigeria.
Wow.
So, yeah, so the first set of female officers to be enlisted into the Nigerian police force was in 1955 in April. So it's going to be 70 years this year having women in policing.
That's beautiful.
So that's another celebration for us.
Amazing. So speak to us about your story, AIG.
Thank you very much. Well, as you said, I came from a very humble background, from a beautiful city of Biu in Borno State. And I grew up virtually in Adamawa State with my maternal grandmother. And I went to do my primary, secondary school. My grandma, I was brought up by my grandmother, who was a matron in a secondary school, even though she was... she never went to a formal school, so to say, but based on what she does as a matron, you know how matrons are in those days. So I came up from that background of a matron, somebody that was really passionate about education and so on and so forth. So after my primary, secondary school in Gombe and Hong, respectively, I got, again, admission to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria to do my IJMB, after which I proceeded to the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine to do my DVM degree. I graduated in 1994. I did my NYSC, coincidentally, well, I think on a very good note, I did my NYSC with the Nigerian Police Force here in Abuja. And I think that was where I fell in love with the job. After which I actually got enlisted into the Nigerian Police Force immediately after my NYSC that same year in 1995. And then I joined as an assistant superintendent of police and trained at the Police College Ikeja. So, well, the journey was there. And for me, coming from my background, I'm somebody that always liked to go to school. And police also provided me with that opportunity to develop myself further. So I got an admission to do my PhD, straight MPhil PhD route in the University of Plymouth in the United Kingdom. And then I got an award for that PhD from UNESCO L'Oreal for the UNESCO L'Oreal Fellowship for Young Women in Science. So I was one of the 14 women in the world that got that fellowship, which supported my PhD work. And I came back, and then I also did, although it is in view, I'm doing almost rounded up master's also in security and strategic studies. And then I grew through the rank, went also for different training in policing, went to the Staff College for intermediate, junior and intermediate command course in the Staff College in Jos. And I've done a lot of other courses for policing, both within and outside this country. At least police have provided that opportunity for me to develop myself further, and I'm really grateful for that. So in a short while, I'm happily married, and we have 3 children. So working, being a police officer, a wife, and then a career woman.
Amazing story, AIG. The reason we had to do this because we needed to spotlight someone at your level, AIG. But I want you to respond to a few things. I haven't been in the police. This should be your 30th year in the Nigerian police force. I understand you joined in 1995. And you talked about 70 years of women being in the Nigerian police force. But we've not had the blessing, I use that word deliberately, of having a female IGP, in the Nigerian police. Why do you think that is? And should we be expecting someone like you? Because you should have like 5 more years to be in the police, so, or even 10 more years, given the adjustment, if you become an IGP.
I didn't get the question. I'm not hearing what.
I said 70 years down the line, we haven't gotten a female IGP. Why do you think that is? And you've been in the force for 30 years or so. Should we be hoping that someday before you leave service, we should see you there?
Well, you know, the position of the Inspector General of Police is at the discretion of Mr. President. Whosoever the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria finds worthy, it's only one IG that can be in one particular time. There cannot be 2 IGs. So the most important thing is that women are given opportunities to grow. Women are given opportunity to develop themselves in the Nigerian police force. If you look at my own story, I came in with a DVM degree. I have a master's, I have a PhD, I have some other qualifications. So it has given us the opportunity to develop ourselves. And I believe that it's just a matter of time. Maybe sometimes, well, it's, and as I said, women are doing very well. So far, so good. There can only be one Inspector General of Police. And I don't think it has anything to do with the gender. It's just at the discretion of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Whosoever he finds worthy of that office, of course, he will give them. So I look at opportunities of being placed, I mean, for being able to develop yourself and then also contribute to your own quota, irrespective of your gender.
And you know, your story is interesting. For me, I'm fascinated about how you fell in love with the force, because if you counted the list of, you know, fields of professional practice to fall in love with, the police force will not be one of them for most Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians. And you're married to a traditional ruler in Taraba State, who is also, by the way, a vet. Talk to us about those aspects. 2 in 1.
Well, as I said, you know, I never planned to become a police officer. Really, it has not been part of one of those careers I've ever thought for myself. But, you know, sometimes fate also drives you to wherever you find you, I mean, wherever it is that God has destined for you. As I said, growing up, I keep telling people that I used to be very afraid of the police. And in those days when I was growing up also, that when I become naughty at home, my grandmother would say, I will call the police for you and I will go under the bed. So for my family, it was a big shock and surprise that I ended up being a police officer. And when I came for NYSC, truly, honestly, I'm telling you, it's not just for the cameras. After my 1 year in service and my interaction with the Nigerian police, the policemen, women in the force, and I see what it is to be a police officer, I truly fell in love with the job. And I ended up being a police officer, and I'm happy. And I keep saying that if I'm coming back to this world again, I guess I want to be a police officer. It's a very proud job. It's satisfying.
That's really cheery to hear. And I can see the way you're beaming with smiles. I think you should be one of the poster girls in that sense for the police. If they want to drive recruitment, just put you out there. I bet a lot of people will sign up to the police just seeing how you speak, how you carry yourself, and your story. But you know, we're in the Women's History Month, and there's been a lot of things happening. We talked about the Senate, for example, you know, Senator Natasha versus the Senate President, and maybe the Senate at large, you know, how that has left a very bad taste in the mouth. And people are asking, how well are our institutions, governments, even businesses, families protecting women? The police force as it is right now, over the past 70 years that women have been in the force, how well would you say the Nigeria police force protects women? How safe is it for women where you work as a police AIG now, and for other women across the rank and file?
Well, for the police, it is the responsibility of the police to protect the lives and property of Nigerians, irrespective of whether they are men or women. And particularly for women, the current Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adielu Ebektekun, NPM PhD, since he came on board as IGP of Police, he has been very, very intentional about protecting women and girls in our community, about inclusive policing, gender-sensitive policing, gender-responsive policing, in line with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, making sure that the Nigerian police is gender-responsive, gender-sensitive, and gender-equal. Now, being gender-responsive, it's an inclusivity. It's about looking at it, inclusivity both in and out. That's protecting, ensuring that there's equal opportunity for both females and male in the Nigerian police, and also responsive policing in terms of our interaction with the public, to make sure that we look at it from different perspectives. From the perspective of a man, from the perspective of a woman, the needs of a man and the needs of a woman. So that means being gender responsive in our approaches, making sure that a woman, because nobody is being discriminated just based because of their gender. And then coming to the issue of protection, the IGP, I'm sure recently, he has made certain pronouncements. He has to make sure, especially in terms of gender-based violence against women and girls, we have dedicated gender desk offices in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. And just recently, last month, the Inspector General of Police, just to make sure that we have effective prompt response by the Nigerian police, expanded these gender desk offices to the divisional level to make sure that we have gender desk at the divisional level, and the IGP is also intentional, is building capacity around these gender desk officers so that we have very effective police response to issues that has to do with women and girls, to make sure that you don't have to go all the way from maybe your local government, that you have to go to the state command level to lodge a complaint of any form of violence against any woman or a girl. So I think so far the Inspector General of Police is doing very well in ensuring that the police is all encompassing, and we are gender sensitive in all our approaches, both within and outside the police system.
And that's a welcome development in the force, but we also hope that, you know, those gender desks are empowered with investigation funds, such that, you know, those who come to the force with cases will not be asked to go and get funds for investigation. But let me follow up on my colleague's question. Regulation 127 of the police force, which provides for the sack of unmarried women police officers who get pregnant, has that been, struck out or, made inactive, particularly following the case of Corporal Olajide, who was, sacked from the force a few years ago because she got pregnant, and that rule does not apply to male officers in the force?
Thank you once again. You see that section 127, and any section of the Police Act and Regulation that has gender discrimination has been expunged from our Police Act and Regulation, looking at the Police Act of 2020, and the police reform that is also currently going on. And also another information is that the IGP, again, has just last year launched the Nigerian Police Gender Policy just to make sure that there is a complete eradication of any form of gender discrimination. So all our laws, there's reform, legal reform, and so on and so forth going on in the Nigerian police. I can tell you that the Nigerian police has come of age. We have moved, and the IG is intentional about all his inclusivity and making sure that the Nigerian police is an equal opportunity institution. All those, in those days where the law said that you just recruit a woman police for traffic control, for this, for that, sometimes tigers. No, gone are the days. We have women police in operational positions now. So all those discriminatory sections of the Police Act and regulation has been removed, and they are working tirelessly to ensure that the gender policy also that the IGP has just launched is going to be implemented, which are some of those addressing most of those issues.
AIG, so let's speak specifically. So are you saying, as at today, that if an unmarried police officer, female, gets pregnant, she will not be kicked out of the police force? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to put that on the record. I know you mentioned issues around operations, so we wanted to find out the percentage of women, because when we go out and see the people in operations is mostly men. Is there a reason for that? Is it that the police is concerned about the safety of women, or concerned about their strength? What exactly is going on? Because it appears that those involved in some level of combat have perhaps a bigger chance of growing up the ranks, if you will. So speak to us about women involved in operations, because we don't see too many of them.
There are women in operation. I don't know where you have looked, but we have women in operation. We have commissioners of police in states that are women, and we have a lot of area commanders that are women. We have DPOs that are women. So those are the places of operation. So we have a whole police mobile squadron that is mainly meant for women. And I know that a lot of women are being deployed. But then, of course, yes, the number of women is not like equal, 50-50 in the Nigeria. It's not anywhere. So we are still, and then another thing is that the Inspector General of Police is also looking at covering those gender gap in terms of recruitment. So there's intentionality also in that, to make sure that we now increase the number of women that are going to be recruited or enlisted into the Nigerian police force, to make sure that the balance to a certain extent is being filled up. So I can assure you that we have a lot of women out there doing a lot of operations, and they are doing very well in their various places they are being deployed to do. But and then come to think of it, policing is not just about just going physically. Now, mostly it's about intelligence-based policing, technology, deploy technology. So there are also a lot of women behind the scenes that are into technology, that are being used for intelligence, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you might not have to see physically that all the women are being deployed, but you can be deployed in other sensitive positions of intelligence, technology, and so on and so forth. But I can assure you that the IGP has made open up opportunity for both men and women to thrive very well in the Nigerian police force.
Well, there you go. I guess Jeffrey also wanted to know why we don't see women at checkpoints, why they're not the ones flagging people down, because that's the interface a lot of people have with the police.
There are women at checkpoints.
There you go. So
there are a lot of women at checkpoints.
Maybe some people want to see more women at checkpoints. Maybe they will be calmer when they approach the checkpoints. But it's been very interesting speaking with you. And just on a jocular note, I know when people see women in the force, they tend to maybe think this is not as strong. But in terms of hand-to-hand combat and all of that, are women really more powerful? Can you take down men when it comes to hand-to-hand combat?
You know, it's about training. We have our women that are very combatant. I tell you, don't try our women police. They are well trained. It's not about looking at somebody that is huge or so. But as I said, there are different aspects of policing.
Right.
And even when it comes to physically, you know, even when we have our female in sports, for instance,
yeah.
we have women in Nigerian police that are boxers that can bring a man down. And so in our training also, we have combat operation, and they are doing very well. I can tell you, don't take a woman police for granted simply because you think she's a woman.
There you go.
She has all the training and whatever it takes to be a smart and very efficient police officer.
And it's cheery to hear that. So one more time, don't try our women. AIG, we have to thank you so much for your time. Don't try our women. We'll take that. We've been speaking with AIG Aishatu Abubakar Baju. She's the most senior female in the Nigeria Police Force. We thank you for your service and wish you the very best. AIG.
Thank you very much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Well, I guess we're one day closer to having a female IGP in Nigeria. But while we wait on that, we'll take a quick break. When we return, there's more for you on the show, so stay with us.